Hello Libra, and welcome to my channel, Tarot by Gabrielle. This is going to be a general reading for Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus placements, looking at your connection between you and the person that you are dealing with and are needing to learn the most from right now. We'll be pulling for all three sides of it, so we'll look at your energy toward it, their energy toward it, and the energy in between it, the concept being that there are three sides to every story. So we're looking at your version of the truth, their version of the truth, and this higher level unbiased truth in the middle. This middle section will be looking at what is the deeper purpose of this connection and the best way for you to move forward in order to align further with your higher self. Friendly reminder that these are general readings and they are not here to resonate fully for everyone, and they won't resonate fully for everyone. So do please remember to take what does resonate and helps your personal situation and to leave what does not. On that note, and especially if you're a cross watcher, just know that this whole reading can be reversed. If that is the case for you, that is totally fine and totally normal. Again, the point is to take what helps and leave what doesn't. Last thing is that any information on the extended reading or on booking a personal reading or coaching session with me is in the description box below. All right, Libra. We're going to jump on in. We're going to start with looking at overall energy for this connection, starting with your energy toward the person you are dealing with and are needing to learn the most from right now. This is for Libra's side of this connection, please. Sparks. Dead end. Oh, this happened fast. Sparks to dead end. So, I don't necessarily know what happened, but I feel like this connection, it feels like it never really got a chance to develop. Like, never really got a chance to start, to truly build. Yeah, because it's like from sparks to things are over, dead end or separation or whatever the case is. And I feel like it's left you just kind of like, what the hell just happened, is kind of the energy that I gather. And I think that that is understandable, just kind of based on how quickly things went here. And I'm not saying like fast in terms of, the relationship could have lasted a while, but it feels like, I don't know if the dead end or the separation came quick or what, but it feels like this whole thing was very much a whirlwind. A whirlwind of emotions, of all the stuff. Okay, this person's energy toward you, Libra. Woo! Drama. With breakups and makeups, this person carries a very chaotic energy here. Not just in terms of this connection, but I feel like in their life in general. I feel like this person doesn't know, it's like they don't know how to be in a stable place or like in a stable connection. Maybe they struggle with commitment, maybe they struggle with running, maybe they struggle with vulnerability, whatever it is. I feel like that was kind of the main point of contention maybe here, and maybe part of the reason why things were so overwhelming, because this energy can be really confusing, right, for the person dealing with it, because it's like, I thought everything was fine, I thought that things were evolving, and then all of a sudden, you left or you did something that put this connection in jeopardy, like whatever the case might be, and it's like, what happened, like what changed? But I feel like this person, this is a cycle that they carry, like I said, into a lot of their relationships. This isn't about you or what, like you, it's not about you not being good enough or them not wanting this like you or anything like that. I feel like this is, I don't know, this person seems to have some unhealthy patterns and behaviors in relationships. But truth of this connection between Libra and the person that they're dealing with. Euphoria, yeah. Super high highs to like a crash. Like that's what I heard, a crash to incredibly low lows. And then you have divine timing here. And then there's confusion sticking out. Divine timing typically to me is all about alignment, right? But in this context, like the way that it's coming through is like divine protection, especially because you had that fate card on the bottom, almost like, I don't know. It makes sense that you're in this confusion energy though, because it's, again, going back to what I said, and I said that this person's energy can be very confusing, and especially when things are when they happen very fast and it's hard to make sense of it, it can kind of leave your head spinning. So yeah, this connection took you to some really high highs, but with the divine timing card, like I get that this, in the fate card, it's like it happened for a reason, and there's some sort of divine protection here in play. And I'm not talking about divine protection when it comes to the connection being divinely protected, but you being divinely protected in some way. All right. I don't know. Let's see what we've got here. Overall theme of this reading for Libra. Learning to forgive with karmic. So there's some sort of a karmic cycle that Spirit's trying to protect you from. Is there another one here? Changes will be made, but this is about changes to self. Ooh, okay. I'm interested to see how this all ties in. Because I feel like, yeah, there's some sort of a karmic cycle that's repeating, and Spirit's trying to protect you from repeating some sort of past hurt through this. Maybe this person or this connection. I don't know. Let's see what we've got here. And then I don't know where that, like how that learning to forgive card plays into it yet. I think we'll get more clear on that throughout the reading. But let's start, Libra, with your side here. Sparks with dead end. So what was your energy? What is your energy toward this? Because I keep saying was, because it does feel like this is something that has happened in the past, but I feel like there's a reason it's coming through in your current energy. Libra's connection. The Devil being the first card out is interesting, but you know what's even more interesting? When I was reading this energy, I kept hearing Capricorn. So I don't know if you're dealing with Capricorn. Maybe you have Capricorn in your chart, but then the Devil coming out is just also obviously Capricorn energy. So I don't know. I don't know if that's relevant to somebody, but let's get more on this. The World, okay, a cycle. The Star in reverse. That's crazy. 3 major arcana cards, back to back to back. The 10 of Wands. The Death. And the Moon. Okay, this is 5 major arcana cards. You know, the Empress in reverse on the bottom here. I mean, this kind of tells a story. I feel like when you and this person first met, it was very intense and very exciting. And I think that euphoric feeling, which you do have euphoria here, had you really excited for like where things were going to go and how things were going to progress. And I feel like this person brought a lot of hope into your life. Maybe in other areas too, like it started feeling like things were looking up and things were going to change. And then just boom, out of nowhere, things really switched or something happened. I don't know what it is yet. And you were then very much in this like 10 of Wands energy of feeling very burdened, very heavy in this energy. It's like you went from this feeling very free to feeling very heavy, very open to very closed. And I think that that makes a lot of sense, right? But I also feel that this kind of cycle, this is a cycle for you in your relationships, like getting your hopes up about somebody or about a connection or something, and then things not working out. And I feel like it has you starting to like second guess whether or not you can have the love that you do truly deserve and desire. And you can, but there's a cycle, a karmic cycle that is blocking your ability to have that love. So you can have the love, but there is a cycle in the way. And with the star in reverse, this is a need for healing that hasn't yet been tapped into. The star in reverse to me is maybe avoiding healing in some way. And we typically avoid our own healing when we hyperfixate on the healing of others, which is pretty common, when we care about other people. It's like, well, we see the ways in which they need to heal or grow or evolve so that they can be happy. But a lot of times when that's the case, we are avoiding kind of dealing with or handling our own pain. And we don't do it intentionally. But sometimes what that can do is keep us perpetually in the cycle of attracting people that need fixing or that need saving or that we try to help. And then whenever we're not able to, help that person or, push them in the direction that we hoped, we start to feel like we're not enough. And I feel like that's kind of what happened here is when things switched up so fast and so aggressively, it had you going, why wasn't I enough here? Why, was what I had to give this person not good enough? And I do think that with the Death card here, following right under the World, I think that this connection was extra intense for a reason, because I feel like this connection is bringing to the surface a cycle that has repeated in a lot of your relationships, but it's like it had to be super intense so that you finally close that cycle. And I don't really know what that cycle is yet. The Devil kind of heads toward kind of like toxic habits and patterns, maybe toxicity, being drawn toward toxic people, emotionally unavailable people. And typically we're drawn toward emotionally unavailable people whenever, deep down, if we don't believe that we're worthy and deserving of love, we're going to attract people into our life that essentially prove that belief. And the perfect kind of people to prove the belief that we're unlovable and unworthy are people who can't love you and be there for you in the way that you deserve because they are emotionally unavailable. So sometimes we're very attracted and drawn toward what is familiar for us in love. And I almost feel like this connection was an example of that, like being drawn toward what you're used to and then trying to change like the outcome. And I feel like that's why things happened really fast, because I feel like Spirit was trying to protect you from further hurt here in some way. But I don't know. I don't necessarily know like what happened or what went down. I think that I'll get more looking at this person's energy. This person's energy toward you, Libra. You were, kind of simply put, an opportunity that this person isn't ready for. Based on where they're at. So Ace of Pentacles in reverse, Four of Cups, Nine of Cups. Nine of Swords. Ooh, you brought out a lot of insecurity in them, too. A lot of insecurity and fear around love for them. They hold a lot of resentment. not toward you, but toward people in their past, and they projected a lot onto that, of that onto you. It's almost like they've been hurt in the past, yet there's the emotional unavailability. Page of Cups in reverse right there. It's like they hold on to, because people love how they've been taught to love, right? People, love others to the extent that they have learned how to love, which typically kind of boils down to how much they've been taught to love themselves. And usually when people are very wishy-washy and they don't let other people get too close, they've usually been done wrong. And every time they have been vulnerable or they have opened up to others, it's ended up kind of biting them in the ass, for lack of a better term. And I think that this person, it's like they projected a lot of their expectations around love onto you. And I feel like that's why things happened so fast, because there was obviously, because they have the 9 of Cups here, so I do feel like this aligned a lot with what they are looking for in relationships. But I think that to a certain extent also freaked them out, because that almost raised the stakes a little. And again, I think that you brought up a lot of insecurity for them, because when people have been done wrong and they haven't done the healing, they start to internalize those woundings, right? So they start to believe, okay, I'm unworthy, I'm undeserving, I'm not good enough, or whatever the case might be. And if they carry these beliefs of I'm unworthy, I'm undeserving, and I'm not good enough, then what they're going to do is they're going to make decisions that almost prove that right. You know how I kind of said that when we chase after emotionally unavailable people, there's typically a part of us that is trying to prove to ourselves that we're unworthy of love, that we can't have the love that we deserve. Emotionally unavailable people do the exact same thing, except for they're the ones running, not chasing. And it happens, it's very common, which is typically why those two are very attracted to each other, is because there is a similar wounding there. There's a similar, fear of not having the love that they deserve or not being good enough for it. And that almost like you almost identify that in somebody of that nature. And then it kind of creates this chaotic dynamic. But in this connection specifically, like with this person, I feel like this, brought up a lot of promise for them too, because they felt the euphoric feelings. They weren't, I don't think, doesn't feel like or seem like they were faking their feelings for you or anything like that. I feel like, again, with the 9 of Cups, they very much had, saw you as somebody that aligned with what they were looking for. But then there are so many other things that they haven't addressed within them that cause them to act a certain way. And not just with you, but I feel like in general, this is how they act. I feel like they push away anything that does provide them with a sense of promise of being loved well, because they don't know how to accept love. They've never been in a position where they've experienced healthy love, so they don't know how to be in healthy relationships or to love in healthy ways. Learning how to love in a healthy ways is something that took me a really long time to learn. I used to be a very unhealthy person in relationships, very, very toxic, and I was drawn to toxic people. And I experienced for a long time only toxic relationships, the makeups and the breakups and the highs and the lows, the emotional roller coasters, and then fighting almost every single day, like all of that stuff. I was so used to that kind of love. So when I did learn, how to both be healthy love for myself and be that for another person and then accept that from another person, that was when I was able to truly have healthy relationships. But it took a lot of work on myself, a conscious decision to look at, my relationships and look at all of the unhealthy relationships that I'd been in and say, okay, I'm the common denominator. I've got to do things differently. I've got to change. I've got to heal. So people, don't change their patterns and relationships just because they see you as somebody who's super valuable or they see you as someone who's super lovable. And a lot of times we wish that they would, and we sometimes even try really, really, really hard to get them to treat us good and to treat us in healthy ways. But what that does is it just makes us continue to not feel good enough, because what we're trying to do is change deep-seated patterns that stem from somebody else's lack of healing, right? So if you want this person to love you well, if this person were to ever love you well, they would have to do a lot of work on themselves to figure out how to exist within this bounds of healthy love and to give and receive healthy love. And it feels like that's something, because with the drama and the breakups and makeups, I feel like they are very attracted to the chaos, meaning that they probably very much thrive in chaos. And that, again, is typically a pattern that stems from wounding. You know, when we've experienced chaos our whole life, we oftentimes choose it. And we don't choose it because we want it. We choose it because we're used to it and we know we can survive it. So I feel like this person is, you know, really on the run from a lot of things. I feel like they have kind of their heart closed off to love. And even though they desire it, because the desire is there, I feel like they are doing everything in their power to push it away. And I think that that's why the flip switched so quickly and so aggressively in this person is because they went into self-preservation mode. They went into, I have to push this away and I have to, you know, distance myself and I have to make sure I don't get too close and I have to make sure that, you know, I don't let the past essentially happen again. And again, that's what I said. Like, I do feel like they carry a lot of resentment from things that they've been through in the past, and they projected a lot of that onto you. They expected you to do the things that people who have hurt them in the past have done, and that's not yours to bear. It's not your burden to bear somebody else's lack of healing. You know, I think it's important to have empathy for other people's situations and to understand, okay, here's why they did the things that they did, but that doesn't mean that it's okay, right? Our trauma is our responsibility, and we eventually do have to take accountability for the ways that we show up for other people because of the ways that we've been harmed. But it can certainly help those on the other side who are looking at, you know, the way that they've been treated, going, what the hell just happened? I didn't deserve this, and feeling like taking it very personally, right? Because how other people treat you is not a reflection of your value or even how much they value or care about you. It's a reflection of them and where they're at and their lack of healing and all of these other things. And what that helps you do is figure out what your role in all of this was, right? Every single person in this world is a lesson for us, is a lesson to teach us in some way to heal, grow, evolve, to face our own pain. And a lot of times what happens is we see that pain in others. Again, I talked about it, right? Those mirrored woundings. And we say, wait, no, I understand you. And I see why you do these things. And I'm very attracted to you because we are quote unquote broken in similar ways or whatever the case is. And then we try to fix, heal, and save ourselves through them. And we say, if I can fix you, if I can heal you, if I can save you, then you're going to do that for me. And then we'll live happily ever after, right? But when you come when two unhealed people come together and only one person is doing the work to, you know, show up better, it's going to create this chaotic dynamic where you're eventually going to feel unworthy and not good enough because the other person isn't changing, because there's nothing you can do to make people change, right? So this connection, Spirit is pushing you to see this cycle from a different place, because I do feel like this might be a pattern for you, maybe being attracted to people who mirror your wounding instead of attracting people who mirror your healing. Because people who mirror our wounding are always pushing us to heal. People who mirror our healing are allowing us to finally get to experience the love that we found within ourselves. So I do very much feel like this is a big lesson for you in love, and not lesson in a sense of like, because karmic lessons aren't, oh, you deserve this and you need to learn your lesson. That's not what I mean. We're in Earth school right now, right? To learn and heal and grow and evolve. And people, relationships, especially romantic and intimate relationships, are one of the biggest ways in which we do that, because there's no better way to experience the mirror of ourselves than when we are in a relationship with somebody who mirrors a lot of those things back to us. So I do definitely feel like there's a reason that this connection happened. And I think that as you continue to move forward, I think Spirit is saying, don't just rush past this, okay? We're not just trying to say, forgive and forget. We're trying to really understand what happened here so that you can change, heal, grow, evolve in whatever ways that you're needing to, so you can attract healthier love and people who are capable of healthier love, right? All right, we're going to hop on over to the extended. You have Euphoria with Divine Timing here. All of the information for that is in the description box below. Thank you so much, Libra, as always, for your support of my channel. I do obviously hope that this reading helped and resonated with you in a way that you were needing today. And as always, I wish you nothing but love and healing and all of the wonderful things that you deserve and desire on your journey moving forward. All right, bye, Libra.